Hello, hello, hello. Guess what? We back. We are back
For another season.
Right.
It's me, Lashana.
It's Kelvin.
And it's Vince.
Yeah, we got a new guest for you to kick off the new season. I don't even know what season we in. What season we in? 12, 11, 9. We in
One
some
of
season.
them.
We in one of them seasons. But we got an awesome season for you. Like I said, we're kicking it off hot.
Yes.
We have Vince. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
So you got Vince Lockhart, sometimes known as Mr. Lockhart's Neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm here to kind of talk about wealth management. What do you do with your money? When do you make certain moves and strategies? And you talk about a new season. What a wonderful time to be thinking about what am I going to do and what do I want to do as I go forward when it comes to my wealth and wealth accumulation.
Okay, so what I'm hearing you saying, you correct me if I'm wrong, is there's different phases to actually building wealth. There's building wealth, accumulation, and then there's the phase where we need to start getting rid of that wealth. Correct?
Yeah, you're touching on some hot topics there, right? So we always want to think about accumulation, but we also want to think about preservation. And so when we think about preservation, you have to do that through that deaccumulation phase. And I think that's where you were kind of teeing up. What is deaccumulation, right? That's when we're spending our monies after we've accumulated. We set aside some funds over the years, whether it's in a 401k or a 403b or a TSP. You might have those funds there and you've grown them, the interest has grown, and then all of a sudden you get to a point of now what, right?
Yeah.
And so really you want to talk to somebody who's an advisor who can help you with the now what question. What do I do now?
Okay. Because are there, advantages or disadvantages to actually waiting until it's the correct time, so to speak, of deaccumulating your funds?
Yeah, so you want to get in that management phase, right? So we all want to accumulate wealth so that in the future, because we don't know how long we might live. You might retire at 65 and live to be 105.
Right.
Yeah.
That's 40
That's hard.
years, right? Most of us won't even work 40 years.
Yeah.
So where does the funds come from that we need over that 40-year period of time in order to make sure that we can still pay our debts?
Okay.
And what debt might we have at that point in time? We're probably going to have more healthcare costs.
Yeah.
High costs.
High.
Higher
We're going to
cost.
have more other types of debts that we might have. We might still own a home. And so each person's situation certainly will be different. But we have to be thinking about where does my money come from in that time, right?
Right.
So the two main things the society has always known was maybe I have a pension.
Maybe.
Kind of going away now
Yeah.
generationally, right? Pensions kind of shifted. I have Social Security. Now that might
currently.
come into a baby,
Currently.
right? Or I have some other type of retirement plan. Most of what Americans do is they have their own set of retirement plans. And so you do that typically through that 401k, 403b, TSP, mutual funds. And those things help, but that's when you're accumulating.
Okay.
I would challenge anyone to go and ask their fund manager, when is the best time for me to take my money out of my 401k? And you will probably get a pause.
Because they don't want you to take the money.
They
Yeah. of
probably
course.
would not want you to remove it, right? But what's best for you?
Right.
For you, if I've accumulated, say, $200,000 and the market went down 20%, I lost 40 grand.
Oh.
Overnight.
That could be huge for someone who's only got 200,000. But what if I could preserve by having the right type of protection on my money, and I could preserve that 200 to where it never went down? It could go up and down, but I would never lose my principal. Principal preservation. So these are terms
Diversity.
that people would want to incorporate as they sit down and talk to their fund managers. Anybody who has your money, ask them, how can I preserve my principal?
I don't think I've ever heard, until been speaking with you, of the whole preservation part. It was either always accumulate, and then now you got to spend it.
Yeah.
But like you said, everybody's circumstances is different. You don't want to take it out too soon. You don't want to spend it too soon. But how can you make sure it's protected? So when I hear preservation, I'm thinking protected, correct?
That's correct. Mm-hmm. That's correct.
So what are some good methods, or what are some methods fund managers may give or say are ways to protect your asset or the wealth that you've accumulated?
Yeah. So when you look at wealth management and protection, you might think about it from an insurance perspective, right? So we all, buy homeowners insurance for a couple of reasons.
Right.
One, we may have a mortgage, and they say you have to. Or we buy it because we don't want to come home and our home is burned and we have nowhere to stay.
Yeah.
Right? That's protection. That's managing the risk. We do the same thing with car insurance. We say, well, the DMV says I have to have insurance, so I go get insurance. The other reason to get it is because I have a loan. The loan says I have to have insurance. The third reason to get it is I don't want to have to walk to work if I total my car. So we're always using insurance anyway, but typically in the financial world, we may not always think about who insures your money.
Ah. Did you know about insurance?
Yeah.
I ain't know nothing about it.
So of
Learn
course,
something new every day.
you have the FDIC that's going to like insure your funds.
Gotcha.
And then when I think of preservation, I think back to like some of my clients where they have these large 401ks, $200,000, $400,000, $500,000, and they're kind of trying to like, well, we've had a class on like diversifying your funds. So when Vince talks about kind of like protecting your principal, I will put some of my clients into like an annuity where the principal is no longer a factor.
I was looking that up the other day.
It can't go down. And so I would always ask my clients, how safe do we want to be? Correct. Like if we're, in the retirement age, a lot of them are like, hey, I've already put all my work in. I've already put the time. I just want to protect my bottom line and then grow it slowly from there.
Correct.
And so we look at annuities. We look at long-term CDs, stuff like that as tools that we can use.
Help me figure it out in my head. I'm going to talk it through and y'all tell me if I'm wrong. An annuity is you're putting money into something. You're giving money and
for a term,
be it 5 years, for however long.
Yep.
And then you can either ask for it to be given all back at the end of that term or piecemeal it out at the end of that term, correct?
That's correct.
And it's kind of like what Vince was saying, protecting, because you're going to be, hopefully, you're praying that when you retire, you're going to live for quite a long time after that. That tool can help you sustain a way of life after retirement.
Are there interests or does it gain money, an annuity?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And it depends on, again, type of product, right? So I'm not here to talk about product specifically, but we're talking process. And when you talk process, we're talking about what types of questions should you be asking when it comes to your wealth, right? When you have funds and you're sitting there, when should you be making decisions to start having those conversations? Oh, I'm thinking about retiring in a couple of years. Should you be talking to someone 2 years ahead of retirement, or wait until you walk out the door and they say, well, here's your money. You may have to move it out of that 401k or something. So, when we think about what annuities do, they become a part of your strategy.
Okay.
And so with a strategy, we want to say, back to the very basic principles. How much money do I need to live off of? Right? We talk budgets. That's it. I mean, simple as that. Back to a budget. And then from there, you build on it.
Okay.
Well, if you've got a budget and you say, wow, I've been blessed. I was in the military. I've got a pension from that. I've got my TSP money coming from that. I've also got Social Security coming. And, I'm also disabled, right, from a disability payment. So you tack and all those monies add up. If you need it all, you use it all, right?
Okay.
But you may not need it all. So you may say, I can put some of this money into a future annuity, one that pays me down the road. And so maybe it's sheltered away. And then later I want to turn on what's called an income stream. And so how many times do we hear when we tell, our younger people have multiple income streams? But it's not just for young people. It's for us that have aged into retirement too. Can I have multiple income streams? And so how long can I have that income stream? Social Security pays you for how long? The rest of your life.
Oh, I was like, there's
a term limit
trick
for it?
Yeah. So it will pay you the rest of your life.
Okay.
If you have a pension, most companies, it will pay you for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. The one that doesn't pay you for the rest of your life, we don't think about, and we don't create an avenue to create that type of opportunity so I can have income the rest of my life from that. And maybe even a distribution of how that money transfers, right, as well, as I get older or I pass away. So, we always think about money and living, but then what happens to the funds that we have accumulated when we pass away? Do we want to make sure that we leave a legacy in some kind of way? Do we pass that money on, not just to our children or our families, but to an institution that we really believe can thrive and carry forth the messaging that we want to have part of? Somebody could say, well, I'd like to be a part of, helping my church build a facility for youth.
Yeah.
And you can do that through your managing of wealth, but you do it on the front end and not not at death, right? Or not after the will is read. We do this as we prepare.
So what I'm hearing you say is there's a lot of different methods or rather ways of preserving your wealth, accumulating your wealth, preserving your wealth, and managing your wealth. The key, though, is to have a process in place, and I also speak with a professional wealth a funds management professional to help you get a better understanding of what's what and how to manage your money, like the questions you asked in the beginning: when should I take it out and what have you. So we're about the process, or come up with a process versus with the how. Because the how you can get, it depends upon what your process is.
Exactly.
Am I right?
Yes, definitely. And even with the process, you some people begin with just the money. Mm-hmm. I tell people to begin with the outcome, right?
Smart.
What would you like to accomplish?
That's smart.
Because if you know what you're trying to accomplish, then you can work backwards to fulfilling the gaps and making it work out, right? So often we think of things like the lottery, and people get all this money, and it's immediate. So it immediately goes out and goes away when they never thought about.
They don't have a plan.
They don't have a plan. They didn't have a process. But if they would have thought about the outcomes on the back end, you know what? They could have turned their lottery money into even more.
Oh yeah.
Right?
We started a new course, shameless plug here.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Called Money on Purpose, and that was one of the things I mentioned in that is forward planning. In that, while it may hurt right now, if I have goals that I'm trying to accomplish in the future, I'm gonna deal with the hurt because
the future
me will appreciate it a little bit more. Because there's a method to the madness, and right now, I deal with the hurt right now. And when I say hurt, I mean like I'm giving up stuff.
The minor inconvenience,
the stuff that you're sacrifice.
The sacrifice. So it sounds like even with preservation, when we're trying to preserve our money, if you're in that era now of where you're thinking of living off retirement or living off your savings in 401k, before you get to that actual point, one, sit down and talk with a funds manager, and two, but before that, go up and have a plan. Like, what is it you're trying to do?
Actually,
what is your goals for this money? And don't just go grab the money.
Just like you say all the time, your SMART goals. And that's kind of, we do that in all of our classes kind of thing. And that ties into what Vince is saying. Like, what do I want my life to look like at 45? What do I want my life to look like at 65? And if you know what you want at that time, like you said, work backwards. Like, what can I start doing now to ensure that? Which a lot of the time,
most people don't want.
People aren't even thinking that.
Right.
People think it, but then when they hear about what the sacrifice may be or what they may have to give up, it's always
and sometimes it's not even the sacrifice as much as it's the lack of information, right? Yeah. So we don't have these conversations around the coffee table.
We should.
Right. We don't have them. We don't have them at the dinner table. We tend to only have conversation in crisis.
Hold
up.
Say that again.
Can we write that down?
Yeah. Conversations
in crisis.
In crisis is when this happens. And you are so correct.
Yeah. And that's the sad part, because you don't always have to pay for the information. You just have to be willing to have an open ear. Give her your time.
And a lot of the time we're paying for the information
sir.
in the crisis.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly.
Because there's this stigma that free means
bad.
Yeah, and it certainly shouldn't, right?
It should not, especially when it comes to finance. I take free all the time.
Yeah. So I recently had my first grand, and so
Congratulations.
when I look at little Mina and I'm like, all right, you know what? She's gonna have a car one day,
Mm-hmm.
and so mom and daddy might be able to do it, but I'm gonna buy her a car today.
Mm-hmm.
So at 15 days old, I bought her first car.
Come on.
And I'm not talking about a Tonka toy car or one of these things.
Mm-hmm.
I actually bought her car. And here's how I did it. I bought her a life insurance policy that when she is 16 years of age, if we want to buy the car at that point, we could go and get the money, buy the car, and then turn right around and pay the life insurance back for the car.
Wow.
So
That's
she's
smart.
really.
We don't think like that.
No.
She literally. I'm like, okay, they all gonna be driving electric cars by the end, right? So
Should be flying cars by the end.
16, 18-year-old. Her grandpa bought her first car, and she's got her nice little cool used electric car. It'll be used. She won't be getting nothing.
Hello,
new.
there we go, Grandpa.
But she'll have wheels, and she can go to do things that she's doing.
That's smart.
And just like I would have bought it at 16 years from now, I would have gone to the bank
and gotten a
to get the
loan.
money for that process. So grandpa is now going to be the financier through her life insurance. And, people say, well, you use the life insurance. Aren't you worried about your granddaughter dying? No, absolutely not.
No.
I want my granddaughter to live to be the right old age of 125.
Yeah.
And I want her to pass on legacies for those 125 years. But planning today allows her to step into a new opportunity down the road. And that's how you begin to step out of these generational curses that may have been incorporated into one's lifespan.
We talk about the legacy planning class that you're doing. Well, we really don't want to even have those conversations, like you said, at the coffee table, hanging out with family. We don't even want to talk about that stuff because we're afraid of talking about death and insurance and taking the proper steps. So we shy away from all those conversations when it's beneficial.
Very beneficial.
It all goes together. We enter this world and we're going to transition out of this world. So as we do that, how much can we learn about the process, and then how much can we incorporate that process? Many of us are blessed beyond measure, and we don't even really realize it because we're not maximizing what we could maximize in terms of what we have, right? So kind of that 401k conversation. Really, when you start talking about protection, you're really talking about a left pocket, right pocket strategy. And what I mean by that is, okay, if I leave it in the 401k, what happens? If I move it out of the 401k and put it into a protected plan, what happens? Do I lose money if I do either or neither? And then you layer that 20% factor, the market crashed tomorrow in the left pocket and it crashed the same day in the right pocket. Which one did I lose money out of? I'm going to lose money out of my 401k, my TSP, my 403.
It's in the market.
I'm going to lose it. Now, it may still go down in my right pocket because a good investor would have you still making money in the market.
Right.
But your principal, that's what you have to be concerned about as we age into that age of retirement. So that accumulation phase shifts. You would always want to accumulate. I would tell, my Gen Xers and Gen Zs, maximize your 401k. Get every penny of match that they will give you.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you finish that one, start your Roth IRA because that's already a given benefit for you. But when you get out there and you're like, okay, I'm not going to be putting any more money in, or I left my 401k with my old company and I don't even know what it's doing, let it become your own.
Yeah.
So you can control it. You don't have to know how to manage it.
Yeah.
But you do. You're not managing the one in the 401k for that.
A lot of people don't realize they put that money away in the 401k and it's just sitting. They haven't even had it allocated to anything, and it's just
it's on the cash flow.
Yeah, it's just. So did you know that? So when you contribute to a 401k at a company, you contribute. They put it in kind of like one overall fund. If you don't go in there and say, okay, I want these funds invested into these companies, it's just sitting in like a overall mutual fund.
That's kind of how TSP was.
That's correct.
I didn't know about at first until I actually started doing my own research that, let me put it in Index C or whatever, you know, 10% over there. Because, you know, and me, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just like,
whatever, right?
Yeah, whatever.
10 over here, 20 over there. And
Yep.
But education is key. Education is key. The knowledge that we get, and we thank you for the knowledge, because, you know, I'm just like all these nuggets that you are giving out. And I hope everyone that's listening is also taking notes. You know, we're going to have you back again. But, you know,
for sure,
they only give us so much time. You know, we be on a flow, and then, you know, we be getting the signals off
from the
side. Be like, wrap it up, stuff. I'm like, how you do nothing? But we definitely got to have you back, because that's just too much information. I know we didn't dive deep enough into everything else. So once we get off the air, we're gonna check all our schedules and get them back on, get you back on here soon enough. But until then, I thank you so much, and I don't know who's blowing up my phone right now.
I know, right? So hold on.
Until we come back.
It's probably somebody who was listening in, right? You know, they just
I wish it was live stream. No, I don't wish it was live stream.
Could you imagine if it was live stream? Oh my goodness.
But again, shameless plugs. We do have a full calendar this year, so make sure you're checking the TBC Augusta website for all the different things financially we have coming up. We're back taping podcasts. We have the Money on Purpose course, which is already started. Wow. We're coordinating now with the young adults and the youth ministry. It's a lot going on. We're trying to be out there. So just continue to watch the pages and everything else for all the upcoming events. And until we come back again, I'm Lashana.
I'm Kelvin.
And I'm Vince.
And he may be a recurring
a recurring guest.
Because
I mean, the nuggets and the information was awesome.
Because too much knowledge. Until then, bye. Everybody wave. I don't even know what the camera's on.